Hey everyone, this is Josh from before, and I'm here with McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Man Bat. You will believe a man can bat. This has got to be one of my most anticipated figures of the year from the Multiverse line, a classic Batman Rogue, rendered in megafig scale. Let's see if he lives up to the hype. Some choices have been made. We'll get into that in a minute. Real quick announcement before I get started. We're about 2 weeks away from the launch of my very first Kickstarter for my comic book called Drop Shadow, Graphic Design Vigilante. This is a superhero comedy, similar to something like The Tick or Chew from Image Comics. And the book is totally completed and ready to go to print. This Kickstarter will fund a small print run. And if we have success with this one, there's a lot of even crazier stuff that we can do in the future. So if you're a fan of the channel and you want to contribute to that, stay tuned. I'll have a lot more information very soon. Now, let's get on to Man Bat. Worth noting, before we get into it and before we pass judgment on the execution, it's worth pointing out, in the box here, he is basically filling the whole width of the box. I'm thinking back to like Steppenwolf and Darkseid when we first started getting these mega figs, and it was like, man, there seems like a lot of room in that box to grow. This guy does go from edge to edge. So we'll take a look around here. Nice artwork from the comics on the back. And like I said, this came from GameStop, but if you're trying to find him near you, maybe that'll help. Let's get this guy out of here, right? Okay, right out of the box. He is big, he's heavy, he smells great because they use this rubbery material for the wings. Same stuff they use for the capes. It just smells really great when you get it out of the box. It's a nostalgic smell. The sculpt is out of bounds, right? I mean, come on. I'm a sucker for a monster in ripped jeans. This takes me all the way back to this Ghostbusters werewolf. This is just one of my favorite toys of all time. Absolutely loved this guy as a kid. This has given me a little bit of that, and I really, really love it. I'm overwhelmed taking it all in. I'm not even sure where to start. I guess we got to start from the top, right? Great. This is an amazing vampire bat face with these nasty teeth that are going to suck your blood. No jaw hinge. Seems odd. It seems like we've had a few figures lately that would have been great contenders for jaw hinges, which they have been. You know, they were the ones that started it. Todd was the one that started it. He gave it to us all the way back with Devastator. And recently Clayface had one as well. Oh wow, this head has a ton of range. This is awesome. Look at this. Oh, this is going to be awesome. I don't know if he looks totally forward, you know, as far as like a flight pose, but man, being able to come all the way down like that is so cool. Oh my God. Look at this. Have we gotten any sort of creatures, monsters with like head movement like this? This is a separate piece here. It kind of moves a little bit with the head when you kind of turn it a bit. You kind of finagle it the right way. It might give you a little bit of extra room. That's fantastic. Wow, I love that. I love that. So we come down to this mane here, which is just tremendous fur texture, obviously overlapping. I feel like the edge, there's some spots that are really just perfect as far as that irregular shape, and then other spots where it just feels like a little bit more of a straight line than I would like it to be. You know what I mean? Not the end of the world, but man, I love it. There's just little pieces of fur that are kind of sticking out, pointing in every direction, you know? I really love that kind of stuff. Mane looks great. The mane has a bit of a wash on it, and it really makes it pop. The rest of his body, you know, beyond these patches of fur on his hands and his arms, don't feel like they have any paint on it. I think a black wash will go a long way to bring out these shredded muscles and all this like vasculature. And Joel Schumacher fans, get excited because we got bat nips, baby. Maybe this is a little hint at things to come. Tons of movement at the torso. similar to the Titan Joker, which was a Dynamite figure, so I'm really thrilled to see that. Bend him way forward, and he's screaming in your face. That's freaking awesome. Oh, yeah, and straight forward, too. So we'll have him flying here in a moment. I'm saving these arms for last. The arms, I have notes. So leg movement, pretty solid here. I mean, it's more than pretty solid. It's great. A little bit of rotation at the hip. Oh yeah, great double knee. I really don't like this tooling decision where they make it a sharp point. I know that kind of makes sense as far as like the way the legs in your, the way the muscles in your legs kind of work, and the way that your knee moves here. But this is just a huge gap, and the sharp point is it's just not organic. Sculpted ankles look tremendous. Maybe some of the best looking sculpted ankles we've seen yet. Ton of range. They do get a little ugly when you start to bend them severely like that, but I mean, they do what they're meant to, right? And the truth of the matter is a ball joint is better than a single directional hinge, right? Movement in the toes, bit of sculpt at the bottom of the feet, though it has these kind of weird geometric shapes. Now let's talk about the real sort of noodle scratcher here, which was the wing decision. Okay, so what they've done here is, you understand how a bat's wings are technically stretched by what we would think of as fingers, right? So Man-Bat here has his hands closed instead of splayed out like you would normally see a flying bat, meaning his sort of his finger bones are going the opposite way, and then when his hands are at his side, the ends of the wings are pointing upward. It feels very unnatural. It feels weird. It feels like a weird decision. The look of these arms is awesome. I mean, it's an interesting idea to have a bat-winged hand sort of making a fist. But as far as being being the way that he's rendered for the figure, I mean, it looks cool. It looks freaking cool when he does shit like this. I'm definitely not saying that it doesn't look cool. It does look kind of cool. It's just weird, and it's not when you think of a flying bat, and then so for flying poses, this is going to seem very unnatural. The way the arms work is pretty cool, in that this is a sort of this wing piece attached to his bicep, and then below the elbow, you have this, and then the elbows with a single joint also rotate. So when you get him like this, and those elbows do go in pretty far, he looks pretty cool. I don't know if he looks like he's flying because this isn't aerodynamic at all. You know what I'm saying? Like it's weird. It's a freaking. I'm assuming they did it so that he could fit in the damn box, right? So it's not like there's much you can say as far as why you did that. Because like I said at the beginning, the guy stretched from one corner of the box to the other. Short of removing the wings and making him look ugly as hell in the box, I don't know what the solution is, but I mean, we got to say something about it. It's an unusual, unexpected kind of choice there. Like, it just feels like it's going to make flying kind of a question mark, Flying poses, I mean. I'm trying to stand him up here. He's obviously very top heavy. I'm sure some poses will be more difficult to get balanced than others. And it does feel like maybe the knees and the ankles are a little loosey-goosey, which has kind of been happening a little bit lately with the Megafigs, and just something I think they need to make sure these guys can support their own weight, because we don't want another violator situation. This is awesome. This is cool as hell. It's weird. The wings are kind of odd. Just not what you would think. They're just not oriented in the way that you would expect to see them, so it feels a little unnatural and weird. I mean, come on, dude. That's so freaking cool. Wow. I really love this thing. It's freaking awesome. I don't know. Is there a future for possibly alternate wings or something? A different version of this is probably how they would do it. I can't imagine them doing just like on the online store, like a wings pack. I mean, I don't think they're making hundreds of thousands of units of these or anything. So I have a hard time picturing them being like, hey, we'll make a specific item just for the people that already bought Man Bat. And those people only. It feels that just seems a bit unlikely. If you want to see what those shoulders look like when he brings those in, the fur kind of ends and there's skin under there. I'm definitely going to be going in with a black wash to bring out some of the wonderful details of these wings and the jeans, his torso all here. Could use a little extra work. Maybe a dry brush highlights of like a slightly lighter brown on the fur there, but he looks great. I love it. I'm stoked about this. You know what? I got to come back in here for one final note. I'm recording this all the way after the fact, after the whole review, and I've been playing with it for a minute, and I've actually warmed up to these closed fist hands a little bit, and here's why. The closed fist hands feel defensive. You know, Kurt here, he looks like a monster, but he's just scared, man. I know it's always fun to, you know, I love watching Batman beat the shit out of bad guys as much as anybody else. But I see Man Bat, I can't help but think of the first episode of animated series. And animated series on a whole was about Bruce really trying to help the criminals, you know? I would really love to see Batman in general kind of swing back in that direction, you know, because it is an important reminder that sometimes the monsters in your life, they just need help, you know? We'll start off by comparing him to a few items here. Drifter motorcycle, Godspeed, and the Titan Joker. And now I always do this. I start the review and then I realize, oh shit, I gotta take every single one of those figures off that shelf because I need them for comparison. So let's see him with some other Batman rogues here. Killer Croc, Hush, Comedian Joker, and Clayface. I really love all these mega figs. My only note it would be to maybe just play with the height a little bit more variation in the height. It just makes it feel more fresh every time a new fig comes in and just, you know, doesn't quite hit the same proportions as the others. And while we're here with all these rogues, frequent commenters and participants on this channel are inducted into the From Before Figs Rogues Gallery. And today's entry is gonna be Eddie. Simply Eddie with a little emoticon. Great guy. Appreciate you, Eddie. Thanks for being a great friend of the channel. Always good to see you. I know you've been hanging around since the early days. It's been great to have you along for the ride as the channel grows. Let's hear it in the comments for Eddie. And let's see him with some good guys as well. Some Bats, some Babs, and some Robs. He is going to be lacking one of my favorite mega fig details, which is hands that can hold another figure, you know? Like a big giant creature. Did I mention he has no wrists? I don't think I did. No wrists. No biceps. No wrists. It is what it is. I mean, he's got, you know, wings that are attached to his arms. So it's not a huge surprise. It just, you know, you should know that going in. So that's Man Bat, folks. This guy's probably going to be making the end of the year list. We'll see what happens. There were definitely some unusual choices made. I can kind of understand why they were made, but it still has some things that are just going to get in the way of that perfect sort of flying pose that you want. This isn't, you know, it breaks the aerodynamic sort of form. It also isn't, you know, going to be sort of swooping, grasping, clawing sort of thing because his hands are in fists. It's just a little weird is all. I really like this guy. It's just a little weird. It's a little weird. But this is freaking dope, guys. I mean, we scratch our heads and say, why do they do that all day? The fact of the matter is this guy's still dynamite. Flight pose, I'll figure it out. I'll make it happen one way or another. It's certainly not ruined or anything like that. He looks freaking amazing. So there you go, guys. It's a must get for me because it's a classic Batman rogue. And I think the execution is mostly fantastic. So I'm going to have to advise that you pick this up. It's just freaking cool. It's Man Bat, baby. Bring on more rogues all day. I'm here for them. Maybe next time we figure out how to make that jaw open and close. All right, guys, that's it for me. I'll see you next time. Bye.